Okay, picture this. Jack Hughes scores twice. The New Jersey Devils score 3 goals in a matter of 50 seconds in period number 2. They go up 4-1, and they should walk away with an easy victory, right? Because they're playing the Vancouver Canucks. Nope, another overtime thriller for Devils, but luckily they were able to come away with the victory, but it was not a pretty game, especially on the defensive side of things. We have a lot to talk about in today's episode of Locked On Devils. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Scores! Oh, Steven stepped up, nailed him. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here on Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey play-by-play announcer, Devils writer for Pucks and Pitchforks, and also part-time credentialed media member, Trey Matthews. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to address something controversial that took place during the weekend. So there was a video that surfaced, let's just say, from a San Jose Sharks media source. I'm not going to go into detail as to what was said, but ultimately, based on the 2-minute snippet video that I saw, they were basically doing a trade discussion episode in regard to Timo Meier and possible package deals that the Devils could send to the San Jose Sharks. And here's the thing. I'm not really going to call them out for any trade packages, no matter how big, small, ludicrous, realistic, whatever the case might be, because look, I'm the king of silly season. I'm the king of putting outlandish trade packages, deals together, whatever the case might be. And I'm not going to call anyone out in that sort of way. So that's not what I'm mad about. I was mostly upset at the fact that they just said that nobody cares about the Devils. They haven't moved the needle, and basically just saying that nobody likes the Devils discourse, whatever the case might be. Quite honestly, that was what ticked me off the most, is because people like me, people like Ryan Novozinski, James Nichols, Christy Flannery, Amanda Stein, Dan Rice, I could go on and on. Basically, a lot of Devils news personalities or fellow podcasters like my buddy Neil over at Devil State of Mind, or maybe Twitter personalities like the Brat Pack, whatever the case might be. Everyone basically in the Devils discourse works their behinds off to put out good content, especially for a small market team like the New Jersey Devils. So that's what just upset me the most, because you're basically just saying like all the work we put in is all for naught. So I'm not trying to get sappy. I just want to say that I saw the video, I saw parts of the episode, and I'm definitely going to address it in a near future episode with my buddy Jersey Joe. And we're basically going to have a retaliation sort of episode. It's not going to be anything like sinister or things of that nature. We're just going to give our opinion and do a reaction video in sort of way. So I just want to put that out there before we dive into today's episode. And I just want to say to all Devils discourse, anyone who covers the New Jersey Devils on any sort of platform, I just want to say thank you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you do, but at the end of the day, we're all connected by the same team, the New Jersey Devils. And I just want to say that the results speak for themselves. The New Jersey Devils have, in fact, moved the needle. 13-game win streak. Jack Hughes had another big game against the Vancouver Canucks, and he's on MVP watch. Or the Devils are second in the Metropolitan Division, and they are destined to get back into the playoffs despite everyone counting them out earlier this year. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. The Devils have, in fact, moved the needle. They are relevant. And I just want to say, I don't know what makes the San Jose Sharks that much bigger than the New Jersey Devils. Are both small market teams. And yes, they've had their struggles of staying relevant amongst the NHL, but I don't think the Sharks are that much higher than the New Jersey Devils, if any, because one team is contending for a playoff spot. The other is heading straight back to the lottery for Connor Bedard. But that's my 2-cent opinion. I don't want to go into any more detail, and I just wanted to put that out there because obviously that it caused a lot of controversy over the weekend, and I'm a little disappointed, and I was a little hurt when I saw it. But at the end of the day, I know why we're all here, and basically that's just what I want to put out there. Now, let's get into this game recap, shall we? So John Marino finally made his triumphant return to the Devils lineup after missing so many games. The last game he suited up for the Devils was back in December, and he was obviously one of our best defensemen. He's not going to light up the score sheet, whatever the case might be, but you saw just his overall effectiveness, and he's a good shot suppressor. He knows how to smother oncoming attackers, whatever the case might be. John Marino has been a huge X factor for New Jersey Devils. So in this game, he was put on the bottom four. He was paired alongside Brendan Smith. And the good news for John Marino, and he said it during his intermission interview, that it was his first game back, and he was a little out of breath, and he seemed to be a little lethargic out there, but that was to be expected because he hasn't played in weeks, and in fact, he hasn't played in over a month. So I knew it was going to be a slow grind for him to get his legs back underneath him. But John Marino is definitely going to be a huge re-addition to the Devils lineup going forward, because he was arguably one of our better defensemen out there, and he made our team so much better. The game that I kind of remember John Marino for, and that just basically made me think about how good he potentially could be, was our first time playing against the Edmonton Oilers couple months back, in which we saw Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, whatever the case might be, just trying to attack the New Jersey Devils. And I saw John Marino and a few other defensemen just basically cut off any passing lanes, any opening spots for Connor McDavid. And yes, even though McDavid was able to score that game, I felt as though as the game progressed, I just saw people like John Marino step up to the plate and basically shrug off any potential contact that came his way from Connor McDavid, whatever the case might be, and just continue to play on. So the thing about getting John Marino back is that we don't have to rely on Kevin Ball or Nikita Okhotyuk night in and night out. Now, Nikita Okhotyuk was sent back down to the Utica Comets during the All-Star break, and Kevin Ball was a healthy scratch this game. So I'm sorry to my buddy Jersey Joe, but Kevin Ball, for right now, it doesn't look like he's all that for the time being. I think he has a lot of potential, and yes, I know we need to give him somewhat of a decent sized role. Maybe we can see him thrive, maybe come next year, or maybe a year and a half, whatever the case might be. I think Kevin Ball still has a lot of potential, but this year so far, it just seems like he's a turnover machine. Like every time he touches a puck, it kind of always resulted in a turnover for the opposition. Then for Nikita Okhotyuk, I'm more impressed with his physicality. So I was more impressed with his hits, his blocks, and that's basically what I want to see out of Okhotyuk. Just play assertive defense and don't worry about racking up the points. Just rack up the hits, rack up the blocks, rack up the redirects. So I was pretty proud of Nikita Okhotyuk, especially during his final few games with the Devils during his call-up. So I think Nikita Okhotyuk definitely has a bright future, and I really love him on the defensive side of things. Hasn't been perfect, but I saw a little bit of potential. So now, as for John Marino, he is definitely going to gel everything together. And but the defense for this game for the Devils was not good at all, because the Devils at one point in the game were leading 4-1. And then what happened? They let the Vancouver Canucks get right back into the game, and it was tied, and it had to go into OT once again. It seems like the Devils love their theatrics. They have a knack for it, because in the last 7 games, 6 of them have been decided via OT. Remember that game against the San Jose Sharks? That's the only exception, because it did go into OT, but then it went into a shootout. So just wanted to put that out there. And the game against the Nashville Predators, that could have gone to OT, but the Devils amounted to come back too little too late and lost in regulation. So the Devils have definitely been having their work cut out for them in terms of fatigue, because like I just said moments ago, they have a knack for the theatrics, but more times than not, they seem to come away with the win. But when looking at the overall defensive execution for New Jersey Devils, we saw it when they let up the first goal of the game to Andrei Kuzmenko, because I saw Dougie Hamilton basically try to poke the puck free from him, and he was reaching. And there's an old saying in sports, especially in basketball: you reach, I teach. And then so Kuzmenko just caught Dougie Hamilton slipping up a little bit, and Kuzmenko was able to slide past Dougie Hamilton and net the first goal of the game for the Vancouver Canucks. But Dougie Hamilton was able to redeem himself come period number 2, thanks to getting the primary assist on Andre Palat's first goal of the game. But we'll talk more about the offense momentarily. But here's something else I want to talk about. So that goal by Shen, that you can't really blame the defense in that sort of way, because a screen was set in front of Vanacek, and he lost sight of it. So they even acknowledged it on air, saying that they didn't believe that Vitek Vanacek even saw the puck. And as a result, the Vancouver Canucks were able to tie it, and they cut the lead in half. And then for Lazar, once again, just a wide open opportunity, I believe in the slot area, centered it off to him, and he was able to just bobble it past Vanacek. So there we go. It's 4-3. But here's what irked me the most. Di Giuseppe was able to tie the game 4-apiece. Here's the thing for Di Giuseppe. Fun fact, that was his first goal in 710 days in the NHL. And when looking at other players who scored for the Vancouver Canucks, with the exception of Kuzmenko, Shen, Lazar, and then, like I just mentioned, Di Giuseppe, they're not goal scorers. So I just said Di Giuseppe was able to snap his goalless streak, if you would. So over 700 days in the NHL, not scoring a goal. This was his first goal this season, obviously. Lazar, this was his second. Shen, that was his third. So the Devils allowed for the Vancouver Canucks to tie the game, and 75% of their goals came from players who aren't normally goal getters. So it should really tell you how bad the defense was for the Devils this time out. And Vitek Vanacek, I jokingly said that he was getting the Mackenzie Blackwood treatment, which was he was seeing a lot of shots on goal, and as a result, he was getting lit up just a little bit. But I looked at the final shots on goal category, and the Canucks had 30 shots on goal, whereas if this was Mackenzie Blackwood, the Vancouver Canucks somehow, some way are going to get 35 to 40. But digressing a little bit, defense was not solid in this game, and John Marino is definitely going to gel things together. He was a little out of it at times, and he did look like Bambi out there, just a deer in headlights. But ultimately, for John Marino, he's going to have to ease back into it. But I love Dougie Hamilton and all, but he's really got to tighten up on the defensive side of things. And the overall effort on the defensive side of things for the Devils just was not there. So they really got to improve in that sort of way. And this is a talking point that we've been discussing the last few episodes. So the defense, they dodged a bullet once again. Luckily, the offense came alive in this game for the Devils, but yeah, so it's kind of embarrassing when you go up 4-1 and then you let up 3 unanswered goals to the Vancouver Canucks. And yeah, so I was a little flabbergasted in that regard. However, the saving grace for the Devils was the offense, because it was a tale of the second period for New Jersey Devils. So Jack Hughes just continues to do what he did prior to the All-Star break, because Jack Hughes scored the first goal of the game for New Jersey Devils. He was able to tie it up late in period number 1. And once again, he just had an awesome shot, and I knew it was going to go in as soon as it left his stick, because he was going deep on in. The puck was still on his stick, and he was able to fool the Vancouver Canucks and then just find the back of the net. So I saw that one coming a mile away. So Jack Hughes continues to do what he does. But for Andre Palat, he was able to get 2 goals in this game, and they came within like a 30-second frame in period number 2. So the Devils were able to net 3 goals in a 50-second span. So once again, the offense came to play. But for Andre Palat, this is what I was talking about just a few episodes ago. So he was able to score against the Vegas Golden Knights back on January 24th. And I said that was possibly going to be the momentum shift for Andre Palat, because his first 10 games back from injury, he didn't really do anything, but I said, just be patient with him and he'll get back into the swing of things. So when he scored that game against the Vegas Golden Knights, the next game against the Nashville Predators, he was able to get an assist. And then Dallas Stars didn't really do anything, but he had a plus-minus, a +1. But then in the game against the Vancouver Canucks, once again, 2 goals in like a 30-second span. And then Jack Hughes was able to get his second goal of the game. And he was just hearing the MVP chants throughout the Prudential Center. So I think for Jack Hughes, he is definitely going to try to get his name into the Hart Memorial Trophy race if he isn't in it already. But Hughes is definitely I think he could give Connor McDavid a run for his money. I don't think he'll win it, but it's games like this that really put Jack Hughes on that spotlight, on that pedestal, because not everyone could do what Jack Hughes is doing right now. But for Andre Palat, I hope this is just another momentum shift for him, because, like I said, we know what he can bring to the table. We know he steps up his game when it matters most, and this is the type of solid production that we want to see out of Andre Palat, one of our veteran pieces. So Andre Palat coming up big for the Devils and just having essentially, I think, his best game of the season so far. But it seems like Andre Palat is starting to return to form after his groin injury. Now, let's talk about the overtime execution for the New Jersey Devils, because it seems like every time the Devils go into overtime, I'm more than confident that they're going to walk away winners, because I just see Jack Hughes just running out there on the rink. I see Jesper Bratt trying to set himself up. I see Nico Hischier, whatever the case might be. It just seems like the Devils just kick it into a new gear when it goes to overtime, and it just seems like they're used to it. So I think they have like more, they're more prepared than the average team. And like I said a few episodes ago, I'm a little concerned about their fatigue because we did see Jack Hughes run out of steam towards the end of overtime just a little bit. I'll talk about his no-look pass momentarily because Jack Hughes continues to impress. But he had an open breakaway. It seemed like he ran out of gas, and who was able to defuse his attack? It was his older brother Quinn. So, and we saw Jack Hughes just go to the bench, and it looked like he spit up just a little bit, or based on my memory. So I think he was a little tired. He was a little fatigued because Jack Hughes does do a lot out there for Devils. And while we don't really talk about his defense, Jack Hughes steps up his defense when it matters most, because we saw late in the game he was just playing on to the sweater of some of the Vancouver Canucks players because he was trying to do what other teams would do for him, which is you cut off their passing lanes, you try to make sure that they're not off and running. And I saw what the Vancouver Canucks were also doing against Jack Hughes. They were doing this same thing. They were trying their best to cut off the passing lanes for Jack Hughes, but at the same time, they were not trying to do the mistake that the Vegas Golden Knights did when they sent the New Jersey Devils into an overtime battle, which is you smother Jack Hughes, but you leave his teammates wide open. And then Jack Hughes, being the facilitator he's able to find the open man and find the back of the net. So that was what the Vancouver Canucks were doing in this game. They were playing somewhat spread out, but at the same time, they were doing a decent job of just trying to make sure that Jack Hughes didn't have those open passing lanes or the room to escape. But Jack Hughes just knows how to outsmart and outwit his opponents, because he was able to have a beautiful no-look pass from my angle and pass it over to Jesper Bratt for the one-timer, and Bratt sent everybody home happy. So Jesper Bratt, I guess he is the best player in the NHL, and it's moments like that where we should be really thankful for our baby big three in Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, and Jesper Bratt, because they always seem to come through when it matters most. So Jesper Bratt in this game, he should have honestly had maybe an extra goal or two, because he was definitely on one for the New Jersey Devils, but he was able to walk away with the hero. And during his post-game press conference, he was wearing the big hat. I thought it was hilarious, and obviously the Devils were having some fun with it, but Lindy Ruff was not too happy during his post-game press conference, because he said while he was happy with the win, he wasn't happy with the overall game that the Devils played, and rightfully so. The Devils really should have ran away with this game, especially in period number 2, because when you score 3 goals in like a 50-second span, honestly, the Vancouver Canucks should have done a goalie swap at that point, and you should have just taken the wind out of their sails and not look back. But instead, you allowed 3 players, like I said before, 3 players who usually don't score all that often to tie the game because of your defensive lapses. You got a little too lazy, you went daydreaming, and ultimately it came back to bite you. And I think Ken Danico alluded to it, which is this is a humbling experience for the Devils, because they might have gotten a little too, how would I say it, lackadaisical. They may have taken a little too easy. So ultimately for the Devils, this was an ugly win, but they came away with the 2 points, and that's what good teams do. So even if it's not your best outing, you still got to find ways to you got to find ways to muster up the victory. For the first half of this game, the Devils were actually playing somewhat decent. They were getting decent looks. They were running. They were playing aggressive, and they were basically passing the seeing eye test. But ultimately, as the game progressed, they just, like I just said many times this episode, just took it a little too easy. So like I do with every post-game recap, I will compare the overall stats and give a letter grade for New Jersey Devils. But before we continue, I want you guys to make some extra cash, so you need to head over to FanDuel. So we're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On, because they're the #1 sports book in America, FanDuel. And if you're ever new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports easy and fun. Download FanDuel so you can bet Super Bowl 57 with no sweat first bet. You'll get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel lets you bet on everything from money line to point spreads, who will score a touchdown. So you know the drill. Head over to our friends at Locked On Bets for all your betting needs there as well. And please remember to gamble responsibly. And now, I want you guys to eat a little healthier. So our next partner has a product that I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I wanted to be healthy just like the rest of you. My body's a temple, and I got to start treating it as such. So what is this stuff? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all those things. So it's lifestyle is friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. Contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, while still tasting good, supports better sleep quality and recovery, supports mental clarity and alertness. It's one thing that's best about Athletic Greens that uses best of the best products based on the latest science with constant products iterations and third-party testing. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop out of cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out after your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Okay, so like I said, let's look at the overall final stats, and I will give the Devils a letter grade. So shots on goal differential, 34-30 in favor of the Devils. Face-off percentage, 57% to 43% in favor of the Devils. Power play, Devils were able to get their only power play goal thanks to Jesper Bratt in OT, because once again, I've always said the Devils have a knack for the theatrics. So seems like their latest overtime battles, they're able to draw a penalty, and their one and only power play goal comes on the game winner. So I guess the Devils know. One of the things I've been saying is that I want to see the Devils get more meaningful power play goals, and not exactly what I had in mind, but I'm definitely not going to complain. So once again, Devils went 1 for 4 in that category thanks to Jesper Bratt, and the Devils just capitalizing on the 4-on-3 advantage in OT. Hits 33-15 in favor of the Canucks. Blocks 18-14 in favor of the Devils. Giveaways, Devils led the department 11-7. So like I said, for the first half of this game, it seemed like the Devils passed the seeing eye test, which is they were playing somewhat well, and they got a little sloppy. And I think mostly because they're a little lethargic after the All-Star break. And I think a lot of teams can vouch for them on that, because obviously no team could come out guns blazing after a lengthy break, especially when you're not really doing much hockey activity. The only person who really had any momentum going his way was pretty much Jack Hughes, but Jack Hughes was a participant in the All-Star game, and also we saw in this game Jack Hughes able to net 2 goals, and Andre Palat, he's been in this situation so many times, so he was able to get 2 goals himself. But like Lindy Ruff said, it was an ugly victory. He wasn't too happy during his post-game press conference, but a win is a win. They got the 2 points, and I just want to see the Devils win in regulation, and I thought that they had it this game because, like I said, their previous 7 games, it's been 6 of them have been decided via OT. And obviously, one of those OT battles ended up in a shootout win against the San Jose Sharks. But yeah, I just want to see the Devils just try to play the full 60 minutes and then come away with the win I thought they had in this game, and they blew their 4-1 lead. But they have a knack for the theatrics, like I said. So if I had to give a letter grade for the Devils, I'm going to have to give them a C+, because they did play somewhat decent, but it's just that 4-1 lead. You don't really see that being blown too often, especially from a playoff caliber team like the New Jersey Devils. So that's my 2-cent opinion from the Devils in this outing. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on podcast streaming service. Hit me up on my personal Twitter page at TreyMatt4 or the show's Twitter page at Locked On Devils. As for today's episode, that's all the time I have for you. So continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day, New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening once again.